Is he the strongest wrestler you've ever faced in your career? And are you okay on the bottom? Is that a bad position for you, or is that a good position for you?
Obviously, well, I mean, Robert Dreisel, my jiu-jitsu coach, we work on improving being on the bottom. But, you know, Mike Whitehead and stuff, you see me working with him. I'm trying to work on improving areas to get the fight back up to my feet and avoid being taken out in the first place. I really feel that I have a huge advantage on my feet now as far as all the other heavyweights. I see guys out there that, you know, they're good strikers, but I don't think anybody has fallen in love with the ability to throw punches, I think, the correct way as I have. You know, I think it's, you know, accumulation of both technique and just opportunity and genetically just kind of gifted with certain attributes. You know, you see other heavyweights as bravado, they're going to stand toe-to-toe, and it's going to be, you know, we're going to throw the nuclear missiles, and whoever's still here standing is a man. I don't have that kind of mentality. I really rather, you know, if I can poke you in the back and run off and you die 3 days later, you know, or pass away 3 days later. Everybody knows what I meant, right? I was making a joke about the Chinese philosophy stuff.
Yeah.
Let's strike that last comment for the record, please.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's more or less my mental approach, you know, just, you know, being a good strategist. I think you see that when I fought Nogueira, you know, I didn't fall in love with the fact of wanting to stand in front of him and prove that, you know, I hit harder than you and who has a better chin. I have no problem moving backwards and throwing strikes. So I really think, I mean, when I watch boxing, I mean, I'm a huge fan. You know, obviously Pacquiao is an amazing fighter, but I mean, if I had to be anybody, I'd want to be like Mayweather, you know, Pernell Whitaker type, you know. That's why I'm, you know, tickled, you know, I'm ecstatic about the fact that, you know, James Toney, I've always been a huge fan. I like that kind of boxing. I've liked Lennox Lewis. I don't really think that, you know, standing in front of somebody is an awesome thing. So that being said, you know, I feel comfortable on my back, but I feel much more comfortable on my feet.
You see holes in Carwin's game whenever he fought Gonzaga. Did Gonzaga bring the wrong game plan? Did you learn anything from that fight?
Yeah, I learned I have a lot of respect for Carwin. You know, everybody keeps saying, oh, he's only fought, you know, his 11 fights, he hasn't been to the third minute of a fight, which, yeah, you know, that's what he should be doing with his opponents at his level, you know, for the caliber of fighter that he really is. But the one question a lot of people always have over, especially heavyweights, you know, typically big guys are front runners. You know, in a heavyweight match, whoever's winning the first 2 minutes, pretty much going to win the fight. You know, you don't really see a lot of turnaround a lot. Typically, you know, that's what I think made Randy Couture the man that he was. You know, you can kill him or destroy him for 4 rounds, and you know, in the 5th round, he come back and you know, and win the fight. You know, so that fight with Carwin and Gonzaga, I actually had the pleasure of being there, and I was sitting by the cage, and I got to see, you know, Carwin was in trouble. You know, he went out there, you know, his footwork wasn't the greatest. He kind of like, you know, ran after Gonzaga, and that's a mistake. You know, everybody, you know, it's funny. Everybody goes, oh, you know, Carwin hits hard. I'm like, bro, if you don't hit hard and you weigh 260 pounds, that's something to write about. You know, that's like saying, oh man, he's really quick. I'm like, he's 135 pounds. If he wasn't quick, we'd have some issues. You wouldn't be fighting. You know, I mean, you know, you hit hard with 4-ounce gloves when you're that big. But and he chased after Gonzaga and made a little bit of a tactical mistake and got caught. But the thing that impressed me the most, that you can't teach really, you know, it takes a long time to develop, was he was in trouble in that fight, ended up on his back, was covered by Gonzaga. He was a world-class fighter. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. A lot of people don't want to be on the bottom of Gonzaga. And he was able to get the fight back up to his feet and turn around and landed a nice shot to win the fight. So really showcased a lot of his mentality, that he's not somebody that just because you're putting him away early doesn't mean he's not going to try to come back.
You mentioned that he hasn't been past, you know, to the 3rd minute of 11 fights. Is there a lot of material that you can actually watch and learn from, or is it limited? Is there a lot of mystery about this guy?
No, there's a lot of mystery about him. As far as, you know, it's an advantage, I feel, on March 27th, once we enter the octagon, that he hasn't been to the 3rd minute of a single fight, for me. As far as preparation for that fight, I think it's a disadvantage for me that I haven't seen a lot of footage on him. I mean, everybody wants that footage on their opponents. I mean, you know, we all know what happened in football in New England. I mean, there's a reason why you want to see what the other team's doing, you know. And you know, I wish I could. You know, I'll just have to work with what I have.
Do you view this as a good dry run for another fight with Lesnar, or is this a completely different type of opponent?
No, I think it's very similar to Lesnar. Somebody who's strong, somebody who's a good wrestler. Who, you know, I think that Carwin, in a lot of ways, is actually a bit more dangerous for me in particular. Reason being is that you know, Brock and Carwin both are better wrestlers than I am. You know, they're most likely both going to be able to take me down. Most likely both able to win the fight if I get stuck against the cage, flat on my back, and my head jammed up. You know, but with that being said, with Lesnar on our feet, I jumped in and had no really anxiety about trading with him and standing there boxing. He's knocked people over, because he clubs you with his hands, but he's not really a knockout artist. Where Carwin has actually knocked people out. So if I sit there and I fight with Lesnar, the goal is to keep it on my feet and I'll win the fight. The fight with Carwin, if I say just keep it on my feet and I fall asleep on him, I'm sitting there looking for the shot. I can easily go to sleep if I get caught by, he's shown the ability to knock people out with his right hand. So to me, he's a dual threat.